Ladies and gentlemen, in case you missed it, there has been an intriguing WhatsApp joke that's been doing the rounds after the election results came out. The mood of the two camps resembled a topper who had only scored 90% instead of 98%, and a student who scored 60% after expecting to barely scrape through. Underlying the joke lies the question of the day. What is bigger, maintaining a mandate necessary to retain power or scoring a moral victory by sending a message to the winner? Now, for Narendra Modi and his government, the brass tacks matter. He is in power, and for a record third time at that. Which is why, when the Prime Minister took to the podium today at the NDA's parliamentary meeting, after being unanimously selected as the alliance's leader, he was back to his usual combative self, launching some fiery attacks on the opposition India bloc. Listen in.
हम गर्व से कह सकते हैं कि 5 साल का टर्म होता है। इस अलायंस ने 30 साल में से 5-5 साल के 3 टर्म सफलतापूर्वक पार किए हैं और अलायंस चौथे टर्म में एंटर कर रहा है। 30 साल का लंबा कालखंड शुरू में शायद असेंबल हुआ होगा, लेकिन आज मैं कह सकता हूं कि भारत के राजनीतिक व्यवस्था में एक ऑर्गेनिक अलायंस है। हमारे संस्कार ऐसे हैं कि विजय की गोद में उन्माद पैदा नहीं होता है और न ही पराजित लोगों के प्रति उपहास करने के हमारे संस्कार हैं। हम विजय को भी पचाते हैं और पराजित का भी उपहास करने की विकृति हम नहीं पालते, ये हमारे संस्कार हैं। आप सोचिए, 10 साल बाद भी कांग्रेस 100 के आंकड़े को नहीं छू पाई। और अगर मैं 14, 19 और 24 3 चुनावों को जोड़ करके कहूं, कांग्रेस के 3 चुनाव जोड़ूं, तो इन 3 चुनावों में जितनी सीटें मिली है उससे ज्यादा हमें इस चुनाव में मिली है। ये लोग तय करके बैठे थे कि भारत के लोकतंत्र और लोकतंत्र की प्रक्रिया के प्रति विश्वास ही लोगों का उठ जाए, और लगातार ईवीएम को गाली देना। और मुझे तो लगता था कि शायद इस बार वो ईवीएम की अर्थी का जुलूस निकालेंगे, लेकिन 4 जून शाम आते आते उनको ताले लग गए, ईवीएम ने उनको चुप कर दिया। आशा करता हूं कि 5 साल तो अब ईवीएम शायद मुझे नहीं सुनाई देगा, लेकिन जब 29 में हम जाएंगे तो फिर से शायद ईवीएम को लेकर के नाचने की शुरुआत करेंगे। साथियों, ये लोग कितने ही बड़े झूठे बोलते रहे हैं। और आप देखिए, चुनाव के समय उन्होंने देश के सामान्य नागरिक को गुमराह करने के लिए जो पर्चियां बांटी कि ये देंगे और वो देंगे और टिकना देंगे, फलाना देंगे। 2 दिन से मैं देख रहा हूं कि कांग्रेस के दफ्तरों पर लोग कतार लगा के खड़े हैं कि ये पर्ची है, 1 लाख रुपया कहां है, लाओ भाई, मांग रहे हैं लोग। यानी आपने जनता जनार्दन की आंखों में कैसा उनको भ्रमित किया, कैसी आंख में धूल झोंक दी।
Okay, let's evaluate the claims made by the Prime Minister in terms of how the numbers add up. Look at the comparison of the seat shares of both the Congress and the BJP. Yes, the BJP has suffered losses going back from 303 in 2019 to 240 in 2024. Yes, the Congress's seat share has surged from 52 to almost double at 99. But as the Prime Minister said, if you add up the Congress's tally across the last 3 elections, it is still less than the BJP's diminished tally of 2024. It is the same case if you look at the vote share as well. The BJP's vote share remains impressively consistent even in 2024, while the Congress has only seen a marginal gain in its vote share. It's on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom line is this. The BJP at its lowest seat haul in the last 10 years has still won more seats than the India bloc. And that includes the Congress, the Samajwadi Party, the TMC, the DMK, Left Front, RJD, Shiv Sena, NCP faction, everything else. So the India bloc together on one side and the BJP on its own on the other side. Fact remains that the BJP has still won more numbers than all the India bloc allies put together. Nevertheless, the Congress still insists that it has the moral mandate on account of the fact that the BJP on its own still has not managed to get to the majority mark of 272. They are at 240 right now. Let's listen in to Jairam Ramesh.
2024 के चुनाव नरेंद्र मोदी के लिए व्यक्तिगत रूप से, राजनीतिक रूप से और नैतिक रूप से एक प्रचंड हार हुई है। ये प्रधानमंत्री नहीं है, ये 1/3 प्रधानमंत्री हैं। नरेंद्र, नायडू और नीतीश 1/3 प्रधानमंत्री हैं। ये जनादेश इनको नहीं मिला है। अरे ये तो गठबंधन चला नहीं पाएंगे। इनका बंधन क्या है? ये डेमोक्रेसी में इनका कोई विश्वास नहीं है, डेमोकुर्सी में विश्वास है। पर जो जीत हुई है, इसकी जीत हुई है। सत्ता के लिए नहीं लड़ रहे हैं, कौन बनेगा प्रधानमंत्री के लिए नहीं लड़ रहे हैं, पर भारत का संविधान, बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर का संविधान को सुरक्षित रखने के लिए।
We are questioning about VVPATs. Who said we are not questioning? Problem with this Chui Mui Prime Minister is that he thinks to question is to attack. When you ask me a question as a journalist, you're not attacking me, you're asking me a question, I'm responding. But he's afraid of questions. He's afraid that questions should not be asked to the Election Commission. Why should we not ask questions to the Election Commission? Of course our questions are alive and we'll ask. 2009, the BJP was asking questions to the EVM. So was it against the electoral process? No. Advani ji was opposed to the EVM.
For now, the allies Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar are firmly on Narendra Modi's side. And the answer to who's the real winner between Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi actually lies with them.
कि अगली बार जो आप आइएगा ना, तो इस बार हम देखें कि कुछ इधर उधर कुछ जीत गया है, अगली बार सब हारेगा, हमको पूरा भरोसा। ये सब बिना मतलब का बात बोल बोल करके क्या किया है? ये सब कोई काम किया है? उन लोगों ने आज तक कोई काम नहीं किया, देश की कोई सेवा नहीं की है। लेकिन आपने इतनी सेवा की है और उसके बाद इस तरह से हुआ है, तब इस बार फिर जो मौका मिला है, तो इस मौका के बाद आगे अब उन लोगों के लिए कोई गुंजाइश नहीं रहेगा, वो सब खत्म हो जाएगा।
Narendra Modi ji focused and dedicated approach has transformed the nation into a global powerhouse. Today, India is having a right leader, right time. That is Narendra Modi ji. This is a very good opportunity for India. If we miss now, we will miss forever. That is where we are having wonderful opportunity. You are seeing globally today, all countries are having 1 or 2%, 3% growth rate. India is growing at the highest growth rate for the last 10 years.
Okay, the point is, essentially, to cut a long story short, the Prime Minister is accusing the opposition, especially the Congress party, of being in denial over their defeat. And The opposition, that's the Congress, is doing exactly that to the Prime Minister as well. My guest this evening, Karan Verma, is an author, backs the BJP. Neeraj Kumar is a senior leader of the JDU, firmly with the NDA. Sanjay Jha is an author joining us on the broadcast. Ghanshyam Tiwari is national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, joining us as well. Hi everyone, good evening to all of you. Sanjay Jha, is it fair for Jairam Ramesh and the Congress to call Prime Minister Modi ek tihai Prime Minister, one-third Prime Minister? He's in the process of now governing India with a coalition government, and we've had coalition governments in the past. Some have survived only 13 days, others have survived all full years. What's the problem in that? Why call him ek tihai Prime Minister, one-third Prime Minister? Why diminish his victory?
Shreya, good evening. I want to make a couple of points very quickly. If you look at the verdict in this election, it is basically a rejection of the political arrogance of Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi, I remember, said 400 par or 370 par. He's landed up with 160 seats less than what he said he's going to easily walk away with. And you know, Shreya, I have no problem with Mr. Modi trying to motivate his cadres or, make the people believe that he's a front runner. But what was tragic and, in my opinion, unfortunate was the condescension and the hubris with which he dismissed the opposition. I mean, he was making comments extremely sarcastically that all we wanted to do was to deny him a third term to keep Pandit Nehru's track record of 3 consecutive victories intact. If that is going to be the political vocabulary of the Prime Minister, I don't blame the opposition today for ridiculing him. And I'll give you a second reason. One is the people of India haven't given him a mandate to form the government. This is a mandate by the people of India to say, we do not believe that one single party should govern India. It's a fractured mandate. And there is a message for this government and particularly for the BJP that your Hindutva, using Hindutva as a form of aggressive communal polarization, and their threat to probably change or amend the constitution if they got the numbers have been rejected by the common people of India. I think the opposition has got every legitimate right today, Shreya, to say that Mr. Modi has been cut down to size and told, please respect India's democratic traditions, and your ability to try and create an autocracy out of it has fallen flat.
But Mr. Jha, you say that the people of India have not given the BJP a mandate. ठीक है, the people of India have given him 240 seats, given the BJP and Prime Minister Modi 240 seats. What you require is 272. I get that. But they haven't given the Congress a mandate either, or the India Alliance a mandate either. And if you look at the numbers are very clear. The BJP on its own has more numbers than the entire India Alliance put together. So who's in denial here? By the looks of it, it's the opposition that is in denial here.
Shreya, let me just give you a quick answer to that. Number one, don't forget that the India Alliance has fought, in my living memory, I've never seen any parliamentary election where the opposition is fighting without a level playing field. You put Arvind Kejriwal, one of the prominent members of the India Alliance, in jail. Hemant Soren was in jail. You and I have discussed it on Mirror now, how the electoral bonds was such a massive scam, but the disproportionate funds were with the BJP. I'm sure a lot of other sources of income were with the BJP. They controlled through CBI, ED and income tax, and I would say a very dodgy election commission, a large part of this entire, political ecosystem. And of course, let's not deny, not you, definitely you have been one of the few who stood out. But please do understand when people say that a large part of mainstream media became cheerleaders for Mr. Modi, that too is a reality we cannot ignore. Despite that, we were short by 30, 40 seats. I can tell you, Shreya, without an exaggeration, if there was a level playing field, Mr. Modi would have been down probably closer to 200 or even lower. So I think the opposition today is basically feeling that it has rediscovered its mojo because the people have given it the moral right to question a government that was authoritarian, intimidating, destroyed institutions, polarized India, and had an Indian Prime Minister who made some of the most repugnant hate speeches. So I think at this point, the people in the opposition are completely justified in telling Mr. Modi, it's about time you cut out your arrogance and let's talk on a more level playing field, eyeball to eyeball.
नीरज कुमार जी, ऑपोजिशन ये बोल रही है कि देखिए नैतिक जीत जो है वो हमारी है। एक तो लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड था नहीं, ऊपर से आपके 303 से आप 303 थे, आपने बोला आपके 400 आएंगे, आप रिड्यूस हो गए 240 को। आपने हमको लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड नहीं दिया, आपके नंबर कम आए, हमारे नंबर जितने थे उतने बढ़ गए। तो नैतिक जीत तो हम ही लोगों की है, तो हम क्यों ना सेलिब्रेट करें? व्हेन द प्राइम मिनिस्टर टुडे आस्क्ड कि ये ऑपोजिशन सेलिब्रेट क्या कर रहा है, ये तो हमारी जो जीत है इसको डिफीट की तरह दिखाने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो ऑपोजिशन कह रहा है हम इसको सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। आपने सोचा था आप सब ले जाएंगे, हमने आपको सब ले जाने नहीं दिया, देश की जनता ने आपको सब ले जाने नहीं दिया। देश की जनता ने एक्चुअली आपको एक मैसेज भेजा है।
हेलो, किनसे पूछ रही हैं?
जी नीरज जी, सवाल आपके लिए था, बोलिए। आपसे पूछ रहे हैं, बोलिए।
पहले मैं विनम्रता पूर्वक श्रेया जी कहना चाहता हूं माननीय जयराम रमेश जी को कि वह यह मानते 1/3 प्राइम मिनिस्टर उनके नरसिम्हा राव थे, माननीय मनमोहन सिंह थे। कितनी सीटें आई थी 1991 में? 2004 में कितनी सीटें आई थी कांग्रेस में? 2009 में कितनी सीटें आई थी? तो ये बताता है कि मैंडेट के प्रति इनका दुराग्रह का भाव है। भाई मैंडेट में आप हार गए, इसको स्वीकार करिए ना। इसको स्वीकार करने में क्या दिक्कत हो रही है? 2 दिन ऐसा माहौल बनाया गया कि लगा जिससे कि हार गए एनडीए और एनडीए अलायंस जीत गया। और भाई करप्शन को क्या जस्टिफाई किया सकता है जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक के अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को बेल नहीं दिया जा रहा हो? हेमंत सोरेन को आजादी की लड़ाई में गए, आदिवासियों के हक की लड़ाई में गए, भाई वो जेल गए करप्शन के चार्जेज में, और करप्शन के चार्जेज में गए तो गंभीर चार्जेज हैं, कोर्ट भी उसमें उनको कोई रिलीफ नहीं दे रहा इन लोगों को। तो उसको आप देख कहिए कि लोकतंत्र का खतरे में है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन खतरे में है। ईवीएम से नहीं चुना हुआ, किससे चुना हुआ? और मैं आपको ये बताना चाहता हूं कि बिहार में प्रोहिबिटेड है में शराब, लेकिन शराब कंपनियों ने राष्ट्रीय जनता दल को पैसा दिया इलेक्ट्रॉल बॉन्ड में। ये दस्तावेज है हमारे पास। इलेक्ट्रॉल बॉन्ड में कौन पैसा दे रहा है? जो शराब कंपनियां हैं, वो कौन लोग हैं? इंडिया ब्लॉक के हिस्सेदार है। इसको आप करप्शन मानते हैं या नहीं मानते? क्या इस इलेक्ट्रॉल बॉन्ड को आप जस्टिफाई करेंगे कि शराब की बनाने वाली कंपनियां बंगाल की वो राष्ट्रीय जनता दल को दे रहा है, राष्ट्रीय जनता दल के लीडरशिप में इंडिया ब्लॉक चुनाव लड़ रहा है? तो किसको ये नैतिकता पढ़ा रहे हैं? मैं तो यही पूछना चाहता हूं कि अरे हार गए।
नीरज जी नहीं नीरज जी, वो तो आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं, जो हार गया वो हार गया, हार मानिए। लेकिन जहां तक आपने इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड्स की बात की, तो वो अगर कहानी अभी यहाँ पे शुरू हो जाए ना और डिबेट शुरू हो जाए तो वो मामला लंबा चलेगा, क्योंकि दूध की धुली तो दूसरा साइड भी नहीं है और दूध का धुला तो बीजेपी भी नहीं है। और कैसे कैसे लोगों ने, किन किन लोगों ने बीजेपी को इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड्स के थ्रू पैसा दिया है, उस पे भी एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल उठा हुआ है, ये तो आप जानते ही हैं। और फिर आप करप्शन की बात कर रहे हैं, तो आज ही प्रफुल्ल पटेल को एक ट्राइब्यूनल ने एक तरह से उनके 180 करोड़ वर्थ 7 फ्लैट्स जो हैं, जो अटैच किए थे, वो वापस कर दिए हैं। आप प्रफुल्ल पटेल जी के खिलाफ क्या एलिगेशंस थे वो आपको पता है। तो इन सब बातों के बारे में अगर हम अभी बात करना शुरू करेंगे तो बात पूरी रात तक पहुंच जाएगी। बट लेट घनश्याम तिवारी रिस्पॉन्ड टू अ वेरी गुड पॉइंट यू आर मेकिंग। घनश्याम तिवारी, एक मिनट रुक जाइए। आपने एक बहुत अच्छी बात बोली है कि 1/3 प्राइम मिनिस्टर, आप प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी को बोल रहे हैं, तो मनमोहन सिंह क्या थे बताइए? आई थिंक घनश्याम इज वॉकिंग टू अ स्टेबल पोजिशन and trying to get a frame for himself. Hi Ghanshyam, good evening. You're now seated. I see you have settled down. So would you want to respond to what the JDU spokesperson here is saying? कि आज अगर जयराम रमेश प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी को 1/3 प्राइम मिनिस्टर बोल रहे हैं, he's being called the 1/3 प्राइम मिनिस्टर, then what was Dr. Manmohan Singh? Then what was PV Narasimha Rao? He has a point there. Why mock a coalition government?
Good evening, Shreya. To fellow co-panelists and the people. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but not very clearly. But give it another attempt and we'll see.
Okay. Simply what jive and is in the of today. The reality of 2024 is.
Okay. You'll have to give me a minute here. You'll have to give me a minute, Ghanshyam. Ghanshyam, you'll have to give me a minute because we'll have to fix your audio. So what we'll do is we'll just take you off air for a moment. You can fix your audio on your frame and we'll come back to you. And I'll let Sanjay Jha respond to that. Sanjay Jha, go ahead, please.
Let me tell you this, that at the end of the day, I think the opposition is very clear that this verdict, Shreya, is a message to the BJP. And particularly if you look at the verdict coming from the constituency of Ayodhya. Go back to the 400 par and the 370 par made by Mr. Modi. They believed that the Pran Pratishtha was going to be their big X factor to win the election. And it was driven, by the way, on this very aggressive, Hindu majoritarianism. And the people of Ayodhya, it tells you how communal harmony or, the secular credentials of India have truly been burnished. And that is a positive outcome of this election. That people of Ayodhya have said, we want to live in peace. We believe we are very happy with the Ram temple, but do not politicize our religion. And I think that, Shreya, to me, is a manifestation of the awakening of the citizen of this country who probably was getting bludgeoned for a long time by the very negative and a pernicious propaganda by the BJP that, we had to teach some of the minorities a lesson and make India into a majoritarian government. And I think these are significant takeaways. And don't forget, unemployment became a big issue, as did inflation, food inflation in particular. I think Mr. Modi has a lot to explain in terms of crony capitalism, because the whole Ambani, Adani story has stuck with him. He can't get away from that very easily. So end of day, I think Mr. Modi is probably a diminished political brand. Let's accept that. And I have a feeling he'll progressively find that the aura and the halo that was created, I would say mostly manufactured around him, is beginning to crack.
Okay, but to be fair, yesterday Rahul Gandhi came and accused Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah of orchestrating a big scam at the stock markets. Look at how the stock markets have done today. Perfectly back to normal, touching record highs. Ghanshyam Tiwari, are you with us? If you're through, then I'd want you to respond to what... Okay. I believe that Ghanshyam Tiwari is not through with us. Karan Verma, would you want to come in here? I want your take on what the Prime Minister has said at the NDA alliance meeting today. The Prime Minister, of course, is saying now the opposition cannot say anything about EVMs, that there was an entire ecosystem dissing the EVMs, discrediting them. Now I hear nothing about it. But I want to ask you what you make of the fact that the opposition is calling Prime Minister Modi Ek Tihai Prime Minister, because he will have to share power with the two men we see on our screens, Nitish Kumar and Naidu. Two men who have been known to be fickle allies.
So, Shreya, it's absolutely ridiculous for a party like the Congress party, which is still 2.5 times less than that of the BJP in terms of number of seats, and around 1.7 times less in terms of vote share, is giving sermons to a party and is enjoying and partying, whereas the other party, BJP, which is still going to form the government and Mr. Modi is going to be a record third-time Prime Minister, they are introspecting. So that tells you the cultural difference between, there cannot be a more starking contrast between two parties, and that is the reason why Congress, which in its heydays used to get majority on its own also many a times, is reduced to the margins where they failed to touch the 3-digit mark for the third consecutive time. In fact, the last two times, they could not even get the status of the leader of the opposition. So that is how laughable and pitiable their situation is. And for Sanjay Jha to come up with so much of bluster, it's unbelievable how much of bluster he's packed in the time that you gave him. From Adani and every single one of them, they've landed with a foot in their mouth in terms of the verdicts from the court also. From Rafale to Pegasus to Hindenburg to so many of the other things. Inflation, I mean, for crying out loud, inflation was the lowest it had been in recent years. It was 4.8%. Food inflation, which you mentioned, it was 7.9%. It used to be 12%, double digits during UPA years. So, you know, so much of lies that they've spread. In fact, their entire campaign has been about lies.
Okay.
The one bit of their campaign that actually clicked was that they are going to perhaps change the constitution and take away reservation. That was the one thing that perhaps did percolate down. And we are seeing what's happened with so many people lining up in Lucknow asking them that Rahul Gandhi has to give them 1 lakh rupees each. So, you know, they are going to suffer the consequences of the lies they've spread. But the truth is, Shreya, they threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at the Prime Minister, and he's still 1-2.5 times bigger than them, which means they've peaked out. They will never again come together in this bigger fashion. They'll never again be able to spread so much of lies. And from here on, they will collapse like a pack of cards. So they can celebrate as long as they want, sitting in the opposition.
Never say never.
Okay.
Never say never, because never would the BJP have imagined that they would not even get to the majority mark. Right? And given what the exit polls were predicting, this was supposed to be a clean sweep for the BJP. It didn't work out that way. So never say never in life and in politics.
Never would anyone have thought.
Tiwari, I'm afraid you're joining.
One line.
No, Bolo, bolo. Are, I was giving you time for one line, Karan. Go ahead.
Okay. There was a delay actually. I am saying never would have anyone expected BJP sitting in 2024 still having 240 seats and people thinking that it's a matter of celebration for the other side. BJP was written off back in 2009 when they got 116 seats. They used to mock at BJP. Oh, can they actually get a majority of their own? Can they even cross the 200 mark? I remember so many debates where Sanjay Jha used to mock them. Today, what has happened? 240 of BJP is being celebrated in 2024. So that tells you what a long way BJP has come.
But you know, Karan, whether you like it or not, it is a victory that sounds like a defeat and smells like a defeat. Anyhow, we'll let Ghanshyam Tiwari come in. Ghanshyam Tiwari, unfortunately, you're joining us at the fag end of the show. But I do want you to respond to what the JDU spokesperson on the show said earlier today. Why are you calling the Prime Minister? Why is the opposition calling the Prime Minister Ek Tihai Prime Minister, 1/3 Prime Minister? Is he the first Prime Minister to be running a coalition government in this country? Narasimha Rao has done it before him. Manmohan Singh has done it before him. Was he a 1/3 or a 1/4 Prime Minister? If not, then why raise questions about this coalition even before it has, you know, even before it has got down to doing the work it is required to do?
Very short to you, the viewers and fellow co-panelists. I'm sorry for the delay and the travel. Three things are key here, what I want to say. One is that I congratulate the Prime Minister for being elected as the leader of NDA and being invited to swear in the government. Two, I think in the narrative that has been set, he is definitely the first non-biological Prime Minister that India has ever had. So in calling him 1/3 Prime Minister, we are at least trying to make him biological. And a Prime Minister who went around the entire campaign on two things. One was hate and the other was saying that it is all about Modi guarantee. Today talks about NDA guarantee. It is a Prime Minister who has communicated to the entire country that this is a NDA, which is Nitish-dependent government alliance and Naidu-dependent alliance. So it's in that just that Ramesh said what he said. Finally, this election has been about the voice on the street against the Prime Minister, against his hubris, against his hate, and against his idea that when people want jobs, he can mock them. When people want to fight inflation, he can ignore it. When people want answers on people like Jagdishan Sharan Singh, he can ignore it. When people the farmers want their price with the MSP, he can fire at them. And when caste census is raised, he can mock it. So it is the job of the opposition, the India Alliance, go out and make him hear the voice of the people. And in different ways, by these narratives, by calling out these quick phrases, witty phrases, we will ensure that the Prime Minister realizes that this election is not about his victory. It's about the victory of the people.
Okay, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, Ghanshyam Tiwari, for joining us. Sanjay Jha, good to have you on the show. Neeraj Kumar ji, namaskar. बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद जुड़ने के लिए. आते रहिएगा मेरे नाव पे. And Karan Verma, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast as well. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. Up next, a BJP leader who's being called the giant killer in Odisha. You do want to hear from him. Do stay with us.